Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Women Are Worthy Network. Whew, let's do the woo-saw because it's been a day for both of us. Let's breathe in and breathe out because, baby. Whew, okay, so I wanted to talk about toxic family trauma.
You think they're ready?
Oh, I don't know if they're ready, honey, but they better get ready, okay?
Mm-hmm.
So, I have Jay the healer on, and she is just a phenomenal, phenomenal person. And we were talking, and everyone has gone through some things, but this is what I want to ask everyone. When you go through something with your friends or an associate, if they're not meeting the muster, if they're not living to their potential or treating you right, are you still going to allow them in your circle? If they hurt you or betray you, 9 times out of 10, you're like, nope, bye, Felicia, goodbye. But why is it, Jay, when we have family members that
Right.
do the most or sometimes do the worst because they know our secrets? Why
Mm.
do we still let them in our space?
I think when it comes down to family, it's just the bloodline, that blood thing, right? Where it's like we already feel that we don't have there's not enough people in our circle or in our village. There's no such thing as a village anymore. So it's like all you have is your family. And then when it comes down to how tight knit the family is, it's not only a lineage, but it's like, well, I don't know if it's the same thing, but it's generational, right? So it's like it tends to go from the grandfather to the dad to the uncles to the son, and it's just a continuous cycle of the same thing. So, but I think that's why it's like literally connected to blood because you're my blood. The old saying is blood is thicker than water, and so we tend to forgive our blood because of that more so. But I think people are waking up past that these days.
Well, see, for me, I don't look at, for me, this is my perspective. Blood is not thicker than water sometimes because blood can also clot. And when blood clots, it can kill you. So my thing, what I choose to do is you have family and you have relatives. My
Mhm.
blood relations, they're my relatives.
Yeah.
Now my family, we are, and what I've done was I pick and choose who's going to be who's my family and who's my relative. So I created a tribe of people who are in the family domain or the family
Yeah.
space. They could be friends, they could be people that I've met, and we've
Right.
worked well together. Not just work, but we created a dynamic that was really good. So that, ooh, wow, look what happens when you turn when you give me some light. Black folks now. So I think that's what I'm doing. But also in family, we have secrets that are killing one another, that we're holding in, whether molestation, whether it was rape, whether so much, and we are choking with all of that. So
Mhm.
how can we really, let me ask you a question. Do you have any toxicity if you choose to answer in your family?
Yeah. I don't know. I think you're really blessed if you don't. I think you're so awesomely blessed if you
No, no,
don't.
no. Oh, you talking to the people out there, not to me.
Yeah,
Okay,
if,
okay,
if,
okay.
if that person does not have any toxicity in their family, oh man, well, you got the bigger end of the stick because all of us, I think it starts with family,
Yes,
right? You
yes.
have to learn from your family members. That's who you're born into this world, first introduced to, and so yes, I do. I have a lot of trauma. And me and my sisters were all molested by the men in our family, and I think we don't talk about that enough, right? And not only that, you get the generational curse of whoopings, from your parents, and or my father was a drunk, and so um that's why I honestly I'm like to myself in this space in this life because those are things that I just don't tolerate. I'm not with all the drama and the toxicity anymore. But honey, please, my story. You wouldn't even, the way I look, you know, they say you don't look like what you've been through. You wouldn't even know. I've been through a lot. And I really don't, it's one of those things where I kind of keep it to myself, but it's okay. I'm not trying to hide it from anyone. I more so rather want to tell you the good things that have happened in my life because, you know, all we do is constantly talk about the bad things that have happened. And a lot of people would use that to continue to have that victim card or that victim mindset or what have you. So I would rather empower you, but I think it's also important to share those parts of your background and all that stuff, and you guys can really know where I came from. And baby, it was not easy. It's
And
not
your
easy.
journey, because I think it's well, what I have an issue, because we're always hearing good things sometimes about people, and
Yeah.
sometimes you can't relate to them, you know, because I can't find, you know, there's no one that's perfect, but there's always people that like to put out just the perfect part, and I can't relate to that because I want to see, because if you went to the, if you got to the top, how did you get there? I know you had to struggle, you know,
Oh
so I
yeah.
like to see that. And people, we hear bad things, but you want to hear, man, she did well, or she got out of it like me,
Yeah.
you know, sex trafficking, and look at me now. So, but
Yeah.
I want people, because I think people, when they've met me or they've known me, because I've known people for years and they didn't know this until I started doing my show. Like, what?
Mhm.
Because you don't have to look like what you've gone through. You don't
Right.
have to, the past doesn't have to dictate your future. So I
Right.
agree with you on that. But I have a question for you. What did you said all your sisters, did that create, did you guys have secrets with each other that no one, like you didn't know with your sister, your other sister? Like how did that, you know,
Not okay.
process?
So, and I don't know if this is still a secret, so I'm not going to really say it, right? But yes, we had secrets. So I think the I think I can leave it at. I don't know if I can say this because I don't. It's not my secret.
To
You know what
tell,
I'm saying?
right, right.
I
But
don't.
did
I
you,
really
but
want
when, okay,
to.
so let's
Yeah.
say when it happened to you, did you go to your sisters immediately to let them know, or you kept it?
Oh no. Oh no. No one knew about our molestation. No one until we were adults. Because we would want to talk to our dad about it, but he wasn't here. If that makes sense, you know? And even when he was aware, it was like that's unbelievable. And so it would hurt more to be like that. You're not listening. We're trying to tell you what happened. And when I suppose one day, a couple of years ago, when I finally told him why everyone is upset or why we're not there for him like he wants us to be there for him, I suppose. And I said, you haven't apologized, you know, because you allowed it. Uh, Even if you don't feel like you did, you knew what happened because the incident that everyone knows about was we were all 12 and 11 and 12 years old, and it still was able to prolong throughout, not particularly mine but my sister's. My youngest sister has a long line of incidents, and so yes, there are secrets, okay, but yeah, and even when we went to go tell our mom at like 20 years old, around in our 20s, she was like, "Why didn't you tell us?" And it was like, I don't know what happens with victims, and because my earlier wasn't even those cousins, honey. It was a cousin when I was like 2 or 3 years old. I don't know what happens with victims that where it. I feel like I do because I had to address it. I think it's part of our growing. Honestly, you know, on this earth. I can only speak from being a psychic healer, right? And what I realized is then all I needed to do was say something. You know, my power was in my voice.
Mhm.
And again, my power was in my voice again and again, and a couple of times, and all those times, I missed the opportunity to use my voice because if I can go back in that time, when I was 2 years old, and just to scream, you know, and just to say something, hey, he's doing this to me, uh, then something I believe. something could have happened, because my mama would have probably gave the same reaction, as a mom should, because she has her own stories of sexual abuse.
I was going
So
to ask you about that because usually what I'm finding, someone who was molested, girls or boys were molested, the parents or some were molested as well, and then it
yeah.
becomes a generational curse. So or generational habit. So
Mm.
having, do you have any daughters?
Yes, I have one daughter.
Okay, so how, because of what happened to you, were you overprotective on any males that were around her, like, or females? Like, how were you as a mom being molested and didn't come to terms with it at that point?
I believe I was protected to an extent. I would say I had navigated away from my dad's side where the molestation occurs. Okay, still. Um, I navigated away from his side, so I trusted my sister and their kids, right? So, but my children stayed close to me. They only were able to, go back and forth over their cousin's house, but yeah, I think I'm very overprotective, and I'm really glad because that generational curse has ended with my daughter. Right, she hasn't experienced that at all before, and so, yeah, that's what I'm thankful of. It ends here.
Miss Matthews says, and I agree with her because for so many years when I was, abused and when I was in the sex trafficking, I never talked about it.
Yeah.
Never talked about it. It was almost like I put it in the back of my head and I shut down. It was in a room. I threw away the key, couldn't find a locksmith to open it up. And watching something triggered it. And then going to a therapist made everything come out. So Miss Matthews said there's been talk on that the throat chakra shuts down due to shock. That's the fight or flight or freeze, or the latter, the fawn thing. Me, I tend to freeze once shocked. Me too. I tend to shut down and then later on it comes out. So she also says Dr. Joy DeGray's work, post-traumatic slave syndrome. Oh, baby. Yes, I know. Speak
Mhm.
of so many ills are carried over from the past lives. The subconscious mind, not an excuse, but a diagnosis of your sickness sometimes
Oh
persists
yeah,
throughout centuries. And that is so true because sometimes you go through things and you don't know why you're going through it. And
yeah.
then when you speak to an elder in the family, they went through the same thing. So
Hmm.
this is why it's so important, especially in the African American community where, you have this thing where don't tell nobody what goes on in this house. No, nobody needs to know what goes on in here. What happens in here stays in here. That has to stop. It's almost like I'm going to compare that to, it's almost like when an abuser abuses you and they say,
Oh
don't say anything or else I'm gonna kill your mom, I'm gonna kill your daddy, I'm gonna kill your sister and brother. It's almost that kind of a thing. We have to wake up. We have to also be open
yeah.
to
Hmm.
when someone is telling us this. So when you sat down and told your daughter, what gave you that courage to have that conversation with her?
I think mm, what gave me the courage was for them to be aware, right?
Mhm.
Because here's a story that I'm not afraid to, and I think I'm still recovering from, is the fact that my mom knew that my dad and his family had issues, and she divorced him, right, and walked away. But years later, she was comfortable enough to send her daughters over to his house, and so that fueled a fire in me to communicate with my children, because my mom would say, "You're gonna find out on your own. You'll have to find out on your own." And it's like, girl, if you would have told us, we would have been aware. We would have been able to tell you, we would have known what to look out for. And so when I speak to my children about it, it's it's more so my dang, I'm looking for the term, but my warrior story, right? Is I made it through that, and it's really I know it might sound crazy, but it's often me telling them to empower them, like, babes, you can get through anything, and so it's an empowering thing for them, and I'm pretty sure they can probably say it verbatim, but I just want them to make sure, because my boys are like advocates now. They can't stand a rapist or a molester or someone that sexually abuses women or children, right? Because I mean, who doesn't, right? Because it's just not right. And it's like there's so many other adults out there. Why violate a kid? I think it's just one of the sickest things, to be honest with you. And so me telling my children, it's just like, hey, listen, I had to endure all of this and I made changes, right? I didn't stay there. That stuff could have mentally taken me out. It has done it to a lot of people, a lot of women who can't get past that. And the moment I was able to actually heal from it, right, was the most powerful. And it was only recent, because we carry these burdens around on our backs. And it was only recently, in the past 6 years, where I was able to actually be freed from it. It's all in my psychic techniques, but it works. Okay. And the first thing I would say is, face it. Actually, stop running from it, because one thing that I noticed during my childhood was flashbacks. You're always going to get them flashbacks, and then you got to shake it off. And I know people that will get angry, right? You don't know what happened. Your mood was just so positive and nice, and then you had a flashback. And now you want to be angry at everyone around you. And it's like, oh, you got to face that. You got to stop running from it, because it's going to keep haunting you no matter what you do.
And I agree with that. And because, so for those of you tuning in, we're talking about family toxic trauma family, because, we have so much toxicity running in our families. And I agree, we have things from the past that's resonating now, whether it's slavery or whatever, but we have a lot of things in our community. And because some of us don't want to go to therapy, I'm still seeing a therapist, and it has helped me. It has actually freed me. And for me, what I've noticed, it was messing up also blood pressure issues, right? And because of a golden child, and just listening to who I am and empath and stuff, I was storing all of this in, and and it felt like a weight is off my shoulder, because now I can say, yes, this happened to me. And the thing about it is, it was a female family member that created this, So what we have to do now is, and what it did for me is, I didn't like women because of that.
Oh,
right?
wow.
So, and I don't care who you were. If you had a vagina, I didn't want to talk to you. Okay, didn't want to talk to you. But working with a great therapist made me like realize, and then not to blame myself. You know what I'm saying? Like, man, I woulda, shoulda, coulda, blah, blah, blah. But I was a kid. You can't blame yourself, because you was a child. So what I did was, I actually wrote a letter to my then self, and wrote everything, and felt better. But I want people, this is the whole premise of this. I want people to understand, we want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy Network. We appreciate you, because you could be anywhere else, but you choose to be here. So Jay and I, for me, I want to say, you need to love yourself enough to walk away from family members that's not treating you right. You know what I'm saying? You need to be able to, because it's not like, oh my God, it's my only mother, and it's my only, I only have one mother, one father. And the Bible says you need to obey your mother. If your mother keeps doing the same thing over and over again, the Bible also says, parents, don't provoke your children to wrath. And I've seen some toxic behaviors from some of my friends' parents to them, but they're like, what am I going to do, Jackie? It's my only mom. We can't do that, because they're holding you hostage because of those bad behaviors.
Right. I've been saying that ever since I was well, when I started my coaching business. And I would always talk to people about their parents, right? I mean, these are single people. They're not married, and one person was was living with his mom, right? And he took care of everything, because our moms kind of coax us, coerce us into taking care of them when they get older. Because I mean, I suppose they're tired, from coming from a baby booming age. You start having children at as early as 13 years old, and so you're tired, and all you want to do is be there for your mom, right? And as kids, we don't know really what's wrong and what's not wrong until we get older, and we start evaluating things on our own. But so my mama, she was a good mama. She had her flaws, and still has her flaws. um and so I would say this. There are definitely a lot of trauma that comes from just I would say we take it easy because of the time that they were raised in, and so as we ease into these new times, this new age where people are woke, and people are more empowered. It's like you really can't, you can try your best, but you cannot hide from their flaws any longer, right? And so I would tell people all the time, listen, you're gonna have to cut them off. And people look at me like, what? No, that's my mom. And it's like, listen, your mother, all I've heard you do is complain. How about you give yourself time to heal? And people don't even understand that, grasp that concept of, hey, these people do not belong to you, right? Keep in mind the countless adoptees, people, you have to be willing to be a mom, you have to be willing to be a parent. And so it's more so of, hey, recognizing what's best for you instead of always thinking about other people. And I would even say, if it comes down to it, if you have a toxic child or anybody, okay, and I'm not saying, hey, just go around cutting off everybody. Of course, try to work on the relationship first, okay? How many times have we tried? How many times do we try to work on these relationships and they just keep getting worse? How many times do you have to, or can you forgive a person before you say it's enough? In my case, it was a lot of times, right? Because I don't have any other family. And a lot of people weigh that option in as well. I don't have anybody else. And it's like, okay, well, you're gonna have to be okay with having just you at the end of the day.
But you know what? I think for some people, and I hear that because I have cut off practically everyone in my family. And
Yeah.
if I'm not putting up with my family, I'm not putting up with anybody else, right? So what
Yeah.
I choose to do is, here's a concept, people. Here's a great concept. You are not in charge of, or you're not responsible for the family you're born into, right?
Right.
Or you can choose your friends. You can
Oh
choose
yeah.
and your friends can be your family. Miss Matthews said some people don't know how to heal. People don't know how to heal because there's a lot of people that don't love themselves, that don't put themselves first. Putting yourself first is not being selfish, it's being selfless. Because again, if the plane goes down, you got to put the oxygen on, and before you can take care of your child. So you have to do the things, whether it's meditation, going to therapy, exercising, whatever it is you deem that you need, whether it's with crystals, whether it's mystics, whether it's with
Oh yeah.
psychics, whatever it is, going to church, whatever it is you feel you need to do, you got to do it. Because I'm telling you, secrets will give you ulcers, it'll give you heart attacks, it'll manifest in something else. Good evening, Zena. It'll manifest itself into something else and even bigger. So I try to tell people, when you got that family member, I agree with you, Jay. I agree with you. Have that conversation. Don't just cut them off, because I used to be one of those people, I would just cut, not tell anybody anything. But
Yeah.
have that conversation. right? Especially when it's family members. Have that conversation with people. And if they're still not meeting you halfway or willing to try, you got to cut them off, because when you take someone out of that space, there's someone hungry enough who wants to, help you do these things. And, hey, I want to be in your space, but you didn't have time for me. Now they have time for you. Please
Right.
do not, I'm begging y'all. I'm begging y'all. Do not think about. Zena said, "Hey, my booze, J and J in the house." We do. I don't want you, because someone's your family member, that you give them that extra pass as opposed to someone who is a friend. I get the whole thing about blood and all that kind of stuff, but you don't need them to bring you heart attacks, blood pressure issues, and all that other stuff, anxiety and all that stuff. So, Jay, what do you think about this? Because again, when we're talking about family members, we're not just talking about mother, father, sister, auntie, grand. We're talking about anybody that you consider your relatives.
Yeah.
Remember, again, you have relatives and you have family. Your relatives are your DNA. Family is who you need to be. You need to decide what you need to do. Zena said accountability, yourself first. That's true.
Oh
Okay,
yeah. I mean, you don't have a choice with that, right? It's your life, right? Just to piggyback off of the amount of suffering, bodily aches and disease that can come from not facing that trauma. During my sessions, I have to literally go in. I tell people, "Hey, you've been having, you've been having stomach pain, right? Or you've been having back pain. I see you really dark there. Oh, did somebody? Why is it so black in your private part area? Oh, this is what he did there, and this is it. So you have like pain there, and you can feel like tingles there, and I literally can see that as a psychic healer. And so it amazes me, right? Because I didn't really understand that until I actually got deep into my practice and realizing, hey, your back pain is there because of your trauma. You have this knot on your neck because you're not speaking up, right? Your heart, right? Broken hearts. People who
Mhm,
die from broken hearts are people who are literally broken or and
mhm,
have been, right? Have been carrying around so much deep, dark weight, and it just kills them. And so it is really important. I would say therapy is amazing. Like you said, there are so many different modalities, so many ways you can start healing. One thing that a lot of people are not versed on is psychic healing. And I really encourage people to look into getting a healer, because that we are able to see things that other people aren't able to see. I personally in my sessions I'm able to kind of traverse worlds, right? Traverse timelines, which is I'm able to see what you saw during that traumatic time. It's really so amazing. And I really want to be an advocate for psychic healers, because I know I'm not the only one that can do that. I know we might do it in our own ways, but I really want to bring this mainstream. I think it's important. And I even saw a documentary. Well, it wasn't a documentary. Maybe like a special or something. TikTok. I think Kanye West has posted on YouTube, and he spoke about the communicating with a healer about his divorce and about the changes that he's been facing and the hurt that he's been, suffering from when his mom died. And he was like, I know we're Christians, and I know that, it's against our religion to, talk to psychics and mediums and tarot readers and all that stuff. But when she told me the reason why, this thing was happening to me is because I'm carrying around this weight. And it was like, and the person that may have been acting a fool 2 weeks ago on social media was completely different. He was level headed. And I tell you, from the many reviews I've received from my practices and being able to help people really in as little as 12 hours, I feel that it's really important that I bring this to light. That now I know traditional healing methods are still there, but I promise you, if you get you a psychic healer, it's just not the same, right?
Here's the thing. Here's the thing that, and I'm going to say this because what people, Miss Matthews said after seeing that Kanye latest documentary, my heart really goes out to him. The loss of his mom has really yet take. See, let me just speak a little bit about that. When I hear people calling Kanye crazy, and it really upsets me because number one, Kanye's on a different plane. He's on the same plane as Prince, Michael Jackson,
Yeah.
Leonardo da Vinci, Einstein. Geniuses are on a different level, so they're not going to operate in the same realm as us, right? Everything that Kanye has touched has turned to gold. Let's keep it one. Let's keep it a
Oh
buck,
yeah.
right? So money, that's not the issue. I always knew it was something about Kanye and DMX. I've always held close to my heart. Always held close to my heart. And Kanye, his mother knew how to communicate. His mother also, she said, kept him away from his father.
Yep.
So even though she loved him, he was broken in that way. He didn't have that father's love. He's now trying to create it. But so his mom, so think about this. The only person you could trust in the entire world is gone. You had some friends, they got married, they didn't like your wife or whatever. Forget about that. But you had your mom. You could lay your head and she is gone. So and I believe when Kanye was at the way he is now, I think she was the one before it got out, was helping Kanye to channel that into his music and into his work. So she knew how to speak Kanye's language, right? So I don't like when I hear in the news report, he's crazy, he's this, he's that. He can't be crazy, okay? He's just operating, he's more sensitive, more emotional than most. And everything he touches, and he knows how to pick things out. So instead of calling him names, why aren't we helping him? He's screaming out for help. That's what he was doing, screaming out for help. And people were just going on and on and on, beating up on him. So I am so grateful that his video, the documentary, is out so we can see whether it's the true Kanye or whatever, or another side of Kanye. You see how he is with his kids. When that thing happened with him and his child and people were acting whatever, it's because his mother kept him away from his father. He didn't want that to happen with his daughter. So now back to this that we were talking about. I had to really talk about that. We have to not just we have to look at different modalities. So maybe you may not want that because I'm open to any and everything. I'm not religious. I believe in Christ. That's me. I believe in Christ. I believe he died and all that. I believe that. But I'm open to anything that's going to help me that's positive.
Oh yeah.
That's what I'm open to. And that's what I want people to understand. Be open to these things because you never know. Because think about this, when Christ was walking around and he had, I don't want to use the word powers, he had gifts. He gave his disciple gifts. Joseph was able to read people's dreams and tell them what they meant. So why is it possible people such as yourself have these gifts?
Right. I would say that it's nothing but positive. That it really is baffling when people say that's evil or it's the devil or it's the work of the devil. And it's like all I do is think positive. All I do is speak positivity. If I'm able to actually go in your darkness, go into your dark space with you and pull you out as if we coming out of a fire, I don't see anything negative about that. I mean, I actually quite see it on the opposite, right? I'm bringing you out of the darkness into the light where you can think clearer, right? Because a lot of people, and just to add this, a lot of people, are getting into manifesting and all that stuff, and it's like the reason why you've been struggling really is because you have so many blocks, so many things that you have yet to face in your life. And so it really is important to get gemstones, right? To have Himalayan salt. I think Himalayan salt is one of the easiest ones people know about, right? You can just go buy you a little lamp and sit it in your corner, and it's just removes all the negative energy. But I even want to touch on that too. is that you can have all the gemstones and all the lamps and all the sage, all that stuff, all you want. Them flashbacks still's coming. Okay, your hurt and pain still you can even be so successful in life. I've heard so many people say, I got to a point where I was making so much money, I'm so successful in my life, and yet I'm still lonely. I'm not happy. That didn't make me happy. And I think it's really getting down to the bottom of what makes you happy. But you can't do that because there's stacks and layers of all the stuff, all the that doesn't make you happy, right? And so you got to actually pick through those piles. And then I'm telling you, you're going to see the magic of the singing bowls. Okay. You see the magic of the stage. You'll be unbothered because you actually did the work, right? That's the part, doing the work.
That's exactly true. You have to do the work because for me, it wasn't until I started, because I remember as a child, my grandfather did something and I didn't realize in talking to people, they were saying he was binding some things up. And I didn't understand because he would take me to the country and he would say these words and I didn't know what those words were. And when I found out, it was binding up my gifts, so to speak, because I have a friend. She says, whenever I call, like I'll call her and I'll say, hey, have you spoken to so and so? She calls me 2 days. That's what she doesn't say Jackie. She calls me 2 days. And I said, so I used to ask her, what is 2 days? She says, Jackie, whenever you mention someone who I haven't spoken with, 2 days later to the T, they will call. Right.
Wow.
So, I was talking to her about a former boyfriend of hers. And I said, hey, has such and such called? So she calls me back and said, I haven't spoken to him in 2 years. And guess what? He called 2 days later.
Okay.
Because I can feel it. When I tell people I can feel things, I can feel things. I can feel when someone's negative coming into a room. I can feel, and I've had people who are in opposition of me, like I'm not nasty to them, but I'm not drawn to them. Like I stay, like I can be around someone and know they don't like me for whatever reason, just don't like me. And someone will say, well, why don't you go over? And I'm like, I'm not feeling it. And they're like, but they like you. I've not said anything, but you can feel the spirit. I don't know what it is. It's what God has given me. I can tell. I can say, I don't want to talk to this person anymore because I can feel it, just the negativity. And sometimes I never wanted admitted to it, Jay, until finally what was happening? I was getting weak. I was getting exhausted. I was getting tired. My head hurt. It was just so now I have to learn to discern and be, if someone is negative, to stay a certain feet away from them. Especially because I'm not built yet. I'm building on that to when that negativity comes, it doesn't come through my body. So I'm building that force field, so to say, so it can hit the force field. And I may know that may be a little bit too much for people, but I'm telling you, I can just tell by your energy. That's the word I'm looking for. Your energy. I can tell if it's white or if it's dark. I can tell. So I no longer have to be around someone where people are like, but no, she cool people. I want to be around her. I don't do that anymore. If I don't want to be around you, I'm not going to be around you. I don't have the time, the effort, the talents to do that. So Miss Matthews says the aura is 3 feet outside of the body. This is a person's energy can perceive them before they enter any space. Thank you very much. And Zena wrote emptiness. Miss Matthews also said, fasting from meat and dairy also serves to heal the mind. That is so true. That is so true. That right there is so true. When you fast from meat, dairy, and all that kind of stuff, you get to the next level. People don't understand. All that stuff is clogging you up. And the more you are more towards the earth, like eat grains and vegan, vegetarian, it's like it opens up something in you. It opens up something.
Yeah, it does. Actually, I was actually forced to. I would say forced. I ain't gonna say forced, but I immediately was led to having a vegetarian diet, or I would say vegan, straight up vegan diet. When I first when I had my big awakening, I would say about 7 years ago, and so I think is really important. It brings this your light body in, or I don't know. There's some kind of magic that happens with eating living food. You know what I'm saying? That really helps you to uh, it helps you to get into meditation easy. It helps you to be focused more, and and even just to think about the trauma that I had to face during those times, it really helps with your imagination, or your vision, and being able to actually see past things, or be laser focused on what's on your mind and what you need to um, face right in that moment. So I think really going vegan, vegetarian, whatever, however it works for you. Um, but I also want to say this too. And this is just pertaining to your spiritual journey, I suppose. Is go at your own pace, you know, do what's best for you. Don't make excuses. Okay, if you're really serious about it, then you got to do what you got to do, right? It's the same thing as losing weight, or or relocating, or doing those things people might find challenging, but challenges are how we grow. You know what I'm saying?
I want to. This is what I want to say. It's so, that Miss Matthews brought this up. There's a movie that's out there, and when I say I can relate to it, I relate to it. There's a movie. It was out in, I don't know what year, but let me tell you the name of the movie. I want everyone who's on this, watching it now in the replay, go watch this movie called Powder. When I tell you that I so understand. There's a part in the movie, this guy, it's all about energy, and he has, they talk about electromagnetic things. Well, anyway, what happens is there's a part in the movie where this man hunts and he kills this deer, a doe. And, the guy is like, so what happens is the guy went over and brought the man who killed the doe. He felt the deer, he felt the deer, and he felt the life draining out of the deer and the pain that the deer was going in. He took his hand and touched the guy who killed the deer.
Oh,
That guy was going crazy because he was feeling the life force drain. And when I tell you, I understand that movie. I'm feeling it because I know I'm that way with animals, my cat, my dog. When I have my dog, I can sense some. I'm telling you, my husband will come in, walk the dog, and the dog comes over to me, and I'll tell my husband, you need to go walk him again. He's like, but I walk him for like 30 minutes. You need to walk him again because I know it's like I sense he got to go back to the bathroom. As soon as my husband take him back outside, he used the bathroom. So I
wow.
know I have that with the animals and stuff, but we, and people are like mesmerized. We all have gifts, people. We all have gifts. We're just not, some people are just not tuned into it more than others. And I think if it wasn't for me getting to my trauma and then unlocking all the garbage that was inside of me, I wouldn't have known this. You know what I'm saying? I would think, because when you have it, for me, I thought I was crazy. I'm talking to myself. I'm hearing voices. I'm seeing numbers. I'll drive and something will tell me, don't go that way, Jackie, go the other way. And if I go the other way, I find out there was an accident the way if I had gone. I mean, I've seen
Oh, yeah.
and thank God I'm conscious. So just like Jay said, try different things. Be open. Don't be, again, I'm not religious, Xena. I myself am spiritual. And we have to be open to anything that's going to heal us. Jay is a phenomenal healer. I've done some stuff with her. And when I'm telling you she's good, she's good. And I'm not here to, if you don't believe in it, I'm just here to try it. Anything that's going to make you optimize you to the next level, why not try it?
Right. I would say that, and because that's limiting. I even told a woman at the grocery store, you know how you make kind of friends at the grocery store, and she sees me every now and again, and she's like, "How you been?" And I'm like, "I'm good. I'm better." I was like, "Child, I needed to do a cleanse. I had to do a chakra cleanse." She's like, "Chakra cleanse? What's that?" And I told her about the chakras, and a lot of people don't even know there. They don't even know that you got to start there. And literally, y'all, all of hint, hint, all of your memories are stored in your chakra centers. Like
Mm-hmm.
she said, the throat chakra, it is not a joke.
Mm-hmm.
All of your memories are stored there. I've been able to access some crazy memories where you probably don't even think they're there. You think they're all in your head, but no. And so we already touched on that, right? That's why your back hurts and all that stuff. But I was like, she was like, oh, that sounds good. I think I need to do that, but I don't know. I was like, well, honey, I got you, just let's do it. We can set you up an appointment anytime. She was like, honey, just pray for me. And I could not help but to walk away like, okay, you just proclaimed that you needed some assistance. You needed something to help you feel better. You're still angry and bitter and mad. And while I'm skipping through the store,
But you know what?
and
Some people it's going to take some time because
oh,
when you said that throat chakra, I remember I wanted to talk to my husband about something, but I kept putting it off. And then finally, I was getting angry within myself to not talk to him. Girl, next thing I know, I was getting a sore throat. I couldn't talk. My throat, talking on the phone was like a issue. And I'm like, what's going on? And I said, Jackie, because I'm into meditation, I'm into acupuncture, chiropractor, massages. I'm into all that Western and stuff. So I'm like, wait a minute. I'm talking about if you heard me on the phone, my voice, and you know I love to talk. Okay. A couple of
yeah,
shows I had to reschedule. And I'm like talking like this. And I said, what's going on? And finally I had to, okay, what I need to do is I need to do because I started this intermittent thing. I'm starting to do,
yeah.
intermittent fasting. And I'm like, wait a minute, something's not right. I'm like, you call the doctor, they want to prescribe you all this medication. I'm like, wait,
Mhm.
it ain't that, Jackie. You know you need to talk to Ray about something. Go ahead and talk to him. And the minute I did it, I felt like something left from my chest, my throat, like I had some lozenges, one of those, Vicks lozenges in my
Yeah,
mouth.
yeah.
It just people don't understand how the mind and body and spirit is connected.
Just big time. It's double connect. I told her I was gonna pray for her.
Yeah. But pray, but here we go again. Prayer without works is dead.
It's there, right?
So you can pray, 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 but if you don't want to sit down, and I think in the Black community, the thing that gets people, oh, I'm here looking, okay, was that gets people is they feel just like Kanye said, this is something to do with the demonic spirit. Has something to do with that. But again, God gave his disciples to raise the dead. It wasn't just Christ who could raise the dead when he got crucified and died. His disciples were also raising the dead.
Yeah.
So what do you think? So, I just want people just to be open, to know themselves, to know that you're here as well, and
Oh,
to see that we have to give ourselves grace. We have
yeah.
to, hello, Mr. We have to love ourselves as well. We have to make sure that we take care of ourselves by any means necessary, right? Whether it's through
Yeah.
psychic healing, whatever it is, meditation, all that kind of stuff. We have to do this because at the end of the day, we're all we got. Because the world is only going to get worse. There's no, let's hope it's only going to get worse. Things are being fulfilled. You want to be healthy while this stuff is going on. You know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And have
Well,
that.
I have like this optimistic attitude about our future. Okay, because I mean, damn, why should it get worse? Okay, but I mean, not to just take away from what's going on already. I personally think we all are in different realities. Okay,
That's true. That's
within
true.
this
But also,
world.
there's also the Bible because these things were predicted for me. These things were already predicted about the plague and all this stuff that's going on in the world, in the world, in the world. And until we start operating on the next level, we're not going to get better. So,
Yeah, but we
and
working on
again, there are people in different
it.
realities. I get that, different
Yeah,
realms. And until you can be there, that's great. What I say is, I'm in this world, I'm not of the world.
yeah,
So whatever happens is going to happen. You know what I'm saying? But I
yeah.
just want people to be realistic and we have to start seeking self-care. We got like 2 minutes left. Wow. This went real fast from the time I
Yeah,
called you, didn't
it went pretty
it?
fast. I think
How
even
can
just
people get in contact with you?
Oh, there you go. Okay, so you can catch me on my socials, J_the healer on TikTok and Instagram. I'm there for you, babe. Okay, yes, it's your girl.
Was it J_the healer?
J_the healer. I'm sorry, y'all. I got allergies and I've been fighting through them, but they started attacking me. You saw that? Just
Yeah.
a thing.
And I'm having lighting issues today. I don't know what's going. I didn't put my light high enough, but it's all good because at the end of the day, again, like I said, I just want people to just love themselves, take care of themselves. And if you got toxic family members, get rid of them. Get
Girl,
rid of them. I don't care if it's your mama, your daddy. I don't care if it's your sister,
you know
your
what I like to
brother.
say?
Hmm?
I don't care if it's right. This is your life, not y'all life. At the end of the day, you're the only one who has to deal with that trauma. You're the only one who has to deal with that pain. You're the only one that has to deal with your surviving and your or thriving, right? You have a choice to survive or thrive. And so it's important for you to choose yourself. Leave that family alone, baby. Why you I like to say, why are you so scared to leave people that hurt you or negative people? Let them people go. But listen, if you negative and you want to stay, so be it. All right.
But
But
don't complain. Don't look. I done got rid of half my family members. We got 99 times 99 times 99, and I get rid of half of them. I only speak to probably four. Okay,
right.
and I got of the four, I got one on probation. Okay, and if they don't make the cut, then it'll just be three. Okay,
Listen,
so
listen, let
that's
me
how
tell
I
you,
see it.
my children are my family. Everybody else, I hate to say it, but everybody else got disowned. So it's kind of weird. I'm gonna say this from my perspective, y'all. It can be so weird to be in this world alone, right? Without a family lineage or a bloodline or whatever. But when you know that bloodline is toxic, baby, what they say, if your right hand has the disease, you cut that off and you can keep living. And so you got to be able to keep that. I mean, cut that dead weight so you can keep living. What? Okay, come on now.
That's why you got to create families because there's relatives and family. So some of your friends could be, and sometimes friends know more about you than your family. But if you do have family members that are real good, bone and solid,
Mhm.
congratulations and good luck because you don't know not only is luck, how grateful you should be because it's not like that through everyone else. So we want to thank everyone for tuning into the Women Are Worthy Network. Thank you for just giving your comments. Miss Matthews, thank you. Zena and everyone else, thank
Yeah.
you for tuning in. Share the page, comment, like, subscribe. And again, we want to thank everyone for tuning in. Tomorrow, we're going to have the baddest woman in Georgia. She has her own spa, Miss Yolanda Owens, Iwi Fresh Spa and Garden. When I tell you this woman is bad, this woman is bad to the bone. Black owned company. It's a spa. A lot of the celebrities go there. She juices, she feeds you, she feeds your soul. So tune in tomorrow at 7 o'clock Eastern time with Miss Yolanda Owens and myself. So everyone have a pleasant evening, a pleasant day, and we want you to have a pleasant week. And again, take care of yourself. Evict that negative, toxic family member. Evict them.
Let
If
them
you
go.
want to know how you can get along with our family members, call me or email me, womenareworthy@gmail.com. I'll tell you how to do
I like to say free yourself.
it.